boy, oh boy. Good morning, Columbia CSL. Oh man, it is such a wonder. I'm not that excited at all. I am really excited, but more than that, I am so blessed to be called to be here on this day. Brother Aaron, home. So it was interesting. I'm listening to this brother play, and my first bullet point is welcome back. Then I had to put home. Man, it has been, first of all, it has been an interesting, to say the least, 14 months. But you know, because of your faith, because of your dedication to the vision, you're still here. So for that, I'm going to say, you deserve to give yourselves a hand. Truly. It is amazing work that you've done. It is amazing work that you've done. Because of your consciousness, because of your dedication to the vision, we are here today. Isn't that cool? Yes. I love that. I just happened to look up at the camera. Hello, the social media people. Facebook, glad you guys are here. Hang on. I know you're at home sitting down, but hang on anyway, because we're going to have, as I like to quote from the book of Brown, we're going to have a funky good time. So you are now Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Yes. Dr. Ernest Holmes would start off his radio talks and his television shows by saying one or two or sometimes both of these quotes, which I always start my talks with these because I want to always pay tribute to the founder of this philosophy that saved my life. There is a power in the universe for good greater than we are, and we can use it. Yes. There's a power in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it. But he also said, there is only one life. That life is God's life. Call that life whatever, call God whatever you want to. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. My life now. But not just my life. It's your life, it's your life, it's your life, it's your life, right? So out of this thing called oneness, we have birthed a brand new vision. Or the vision through oneness has birthed a brand new iteration of spirit manifesting itself in, through, and as you, as Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. That is an amazing thing, because now we have to admit that the past 14 months has been a little interesting, to say the least, to say the very least. There have been things that have happened, you know, because of the position that I am in, to go around and speak and all of that. I get to see what happens at centers around the nation and sometimes around the planet. And, you know, there are places there are centers that are closing, that have closed, that are trying to, you know, to do what they're doing. But you guys here, man, you guys have kept to the vision. And the name of the talk is Guided by Higher Vision. So it is times like these. It's times like these where you, on an individual basis, have stayed true to your vision. You may not even know what that vision is. And we'll get to that. But you stay true to being not just the Center for Spiritual Living, not just Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, but let's go a little bit deeper than that. You have stayed committed to the community. I love the word community because to me it's common unity, right? Community, where there's a unity that is in common. It's that for you to stay together, to build together, to grow together, and to love together, and to love one another like we've never loved before. This past year and a half has been a wonderful experience for us to learn how to love. Yeah. One of the things I like to say, because of all things, so remember, like over the last year and a half, you know, we had political stuff going on. There was a transition of whatever they want to call that power. And there's been, then we have the social unrest. We have, policemen, murdering people. We have, and then the demonstrations, and we have, COVID-19. We have, the vaccinations. We have all of this that is going on in the news around the world. And if we are not careful, we can get pulled and taken away from our center. We do not want to be pulled by the weapons of mass distraction. We do not want to be pulled away from the weapons of mass distraction. But you say, Eugene, pulled away from what? Pulled away from your vision. I truly do believe that we are all divine beings of light, and we are all here together to reveal the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Now, what is the kingdom of heaven? To me, heaven is ever expanding good. So the more that we get to rise above the distraction, as Yeshua Messiah said in one of the scriptures, if I am lifted up from the world, will draw all others unto me. What that is referring to is if once we start to draw ourselves from the materialistic world, not to say that we have to give up our money. I'm not saying that. In fact, we want more of that, so that we can do more good, right? But as we bring our consciousness, as we raise our consciousness higher above the material aspects of the world, then we get to draw all others unto us. Come on, Spirit. And so what that is really drawing is that thing called love. Yes. Love. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. And your neighbor is not necessarily the person who lives next door. Maybe your neighbor is that person that pushes that button. Oh, no, not him. Maybe that neighbor is that one who just triggers you to get all upset. Maybe that neighbor is the thought of something that happened in the past that keeps you from going forward. Love your neighbor, but see how the Aramaic puts it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So I am to love my neighbor the way that I love me. Yes. Now here's the question. How much do I love me? Amen. How much do we love ourselves? Do we love ourselves enough to slow down? Because some colorful language is about to come out, or was. Do you love yourself enough to stop the stuff that keeps you blocked? Do we love ourselves enough to do what we know is good for us? My brother Tom Capp and I were speaking just this morning about some stuff, because there's some extra weight that I want to lose. Do I love myself enough to do what I know to take care of that? Do I love myself enough to do that? Do I love myself enough to let go of the past thoughts of fear and doubt and worry, so that I can continue to be guided by the higher vision? Do you love yourselves enough to do that? Oh, that's not rhetorical. Do you love yourselves enough to do that? Yes, I should hope so. You know why? Because you're Columbia Centers for Spiritual Living. Check out that word, right? Centers for Spiritual Living. Center. You are the center of spiritual living. It's not about the walls. It's not about, in this particular instant, it's not about, the community called Center for Spiritual Living, Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Right now, in this moment, I'm talking about you being the center of spiritual living. Living in a way from spirit, living in, through, and as spirit. So far, so good. So good. This has nothing to do with my notes, I'm telling you. It's like, see, because I write my notes and spirit goes, nah, we're going here. The center, we are to, all of us are to love in a way so that we may be open, available, and receptive to the higher vision. If we're going to be guided by higher vision, then we have to, like I said before, allow ourselves not to be pulled down by the weapons of mass distraction. Let's not be distracted from the vision. Then you say, Eugene, where do I find this vision? There's nowhere to go to look for it. There's nowhere to go, you can't find it out there. It's not out there, it's nowhere. It's nowhere out there to be found. There's a story where, I think it is a Hindu story that talks about the gods were getting together and mankind was created. And they said, so where are we going to put this gift of love where they can't find it? Well, let's put it on top of the mountain so they can go no, because he can climb the mountain and find it. Let's put it at the bottom of the ocean. Well, they can swim down there and find it. Somebody said, I know a place that they'll never look. Let's put it within them. If I am lifted up from the world, I shall draw all others unto me. But in order for me to lift anybody else up, I have to lift myself up. And the only way for me to do that is to dig deep within. Being guided by higher vision. How do I find that guidance? Oh my God, how do I find that guidance? Where am I to look for that? That's the importance of prayer and meditation. Now, I know that there are all kinds of different ways for us to meditate. There's walking meditation. There's Reggie Cole uses gardening for meditation. There's bicycling. There's journaling. And all of that is good. All of that is good. All of that is good. But what I'm really talking about is taking the moment, taking the opportunity, being willing enough to sit still. To sit still. If it is a difficulty for you to sit still for 2 minutes, good. Then do 1.5 minutes. But take your time. Take the time to be still. And then we get to ask the questions. Maybe this is in my notes. We get to ask the question, because vision and purpose are connected. So maybe we want to start out by saying, all right, infinite intelligence within me, what is my purpose for being here? Now, I'm sure there are at least 1 or 2 or 3 of us in here who have asked that question, why am I here? Why am I here? What is mine to do? Well, that's a really good way to start to tap into the vision, because the vision is so connected to the purpose. So when I say to myself, what's my purpose for being here? Oh, my purpose is to be a light in a way shore. I joyfully assist others in remembering who and what they are, divine beings of light. Okay, that's my purpose. Now, Spirit, what's the vision? Now, visioning, ooh, really? Okay. Visioning is not the same as visualization. Visioning is not the same as visualization. And visualization is a wonderful thing because we have a great tool that we have within called the imagination. The imagination, as Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is the forerunner of what's to come, right? And everything that you put your eyes on has come from someone's imagination. The balloons, the chairs, the table, the floor, the building. Oh, how about this one? Your heartbeat, your breath, has come from the infinite intelligence imagining itself, oh man, as you. Yeah. That God so loved the world that it turned upon itself and named itself you. In other words, you are, don't tell anybody this, right? You are God in action. Now, I'm not saying that you are God, because, there's one thing about religious scientists. Some of the religious scientists say, I am God. I'm like, well, and I got stuck in that too, until something within me says, okay, can you make a green blade of grass? Like, oh, can you create the sun? Oh, man, dang. Can you cause the oceans to wave? I'm working on that. So I'm not God, but I am so filled with that same intelligence and energy. You are so filled with that same creative intelligence and energy that causes the sun to shine. I love this, right? That power, that presence, that source, that is the cause of the wind blowing is that which breathes your breath. Catch that. The same power that causes the wind to blow is what breathes your breath. And what I love about that source, that cause, is nothing but love. Love at its deepest, its fullest, right? So that when we really look at love, when we ask the question, what breathes this breath? Love breathes the breath. Why? So that love can experience life through us. How cool is that? So when we are guided by a deeper vision, we are saying in essence that I surrender. Not my will, but thy will be done. I surrender to that magnificent power that has brought this together today. I am ecstatic about this. I have a little boy inside that is running up and down, man. And right now it looks like this. Right? But this little kid is bouncing off the walls because of the excitement of being here. I am so grateful to be here with you today as we are guided by higher vision. Oh, man. Come on. Be still and know. So we ask the question, sweet spirit within, what's my purpose for being here? And now we don't have to have a big purpose, to feed the planet. That's a good thing. We don't have to have a big purpose of ending poverty. That's a good one. But maybe that's not yours to do. Maybe your purpose is to write a song called Home that brings tears to eyes. Maybe your purpose is to help fill up the balloons, to bring joy to the room. Maybe your purpose is just simply to smile at the next individual that comes your way. Maybe your purpose is just to be. Yes. One of my mentors who has passed on said, we are not human doings, we are human beings. So we are not here to do, we are here to be. And we've heard over the years, what's mine to do? What's mine to do? And that's a great question. For me, that's the second question. My first question is, who am I to be? Who am I to be in this moment? When the last president, before this new one, when that last president got elected, and this is not about choosing sides, right? But when that individual got elected and people were reacting in the way that they reacted, what I recognized quickly is that this individual was playing a role, and that role is to stir stuff up. And boy, has stuff been stirred up, but we can't heal anything unless we can see it. We cannot heal anything unless we are allowed, unless we bring ourselves to see it. Are we ready to see this? Are we ready to, and are we willing to see a higher vision for this community? Okay, let me put a little qualifier here. This is not rhetorical. Are we ready to see a higher vision for this community? Yes. Yes. I mean, just the fact that we're here today sitting in this room, yes. And I love how the tie-dye, boy, that goes back to the 60s, and all the balloons, but how everybody is here. Even with the mask and even with the social distancing, even with that. You know what is the most powerful energy in the room right now? Love. You are. So now, be still and know. And once you catch a glimpse of your purpose, once you get a glimmer of your vision, do not let go. Do not let go. When you catch that vision and that vision catches you, right? Because sometimes it will. Sometimes it'll grab you by your heart and you have to go that way. Do not let it go. Because the vision, like the river, knows exactly where it's going. It's going to the ocean, what I call the ocean of love. It's an amazing thing to be committed. We want to commit to the vision. Commit to the vision. And then allow the vision to guide you. Your purpose, your vision will always tell you where you are in any given moment. And when you are clear on your purpose, when you're clear on your vision, you know, what happens is this. You get to a point of choice. Poise. Yeah, right? Place of choice. Poise. That's in the dictionary somewhere. Somebody's dictionary. But we are brought to choice point. What I mean by that is what I'm about to do taking me away from my purpose or vision or bringing me closer to it, right? But now I'm at choice point, and I can choose. If I choose to say, well, you know what, I'm just going to eat this dozen donuts, I'm clear because that's my choice. But that's not taking me to my purpose. That's bringing me away from my purpose. So we want to be committed to the purpose. And then allow the vision to guide us. Allow the vision to guide us. Another one of my teachers, you know, Reverend Michael Beckwith would say that pain will push until the vision pulls. Right? Man, and have I gone through some painful things because I'm not listening to the vision that's going, Eugene, will you please come on? We got work to do. No, I want to go do this. Like, okay, all righty, and pain, right? Until I had to surrender. Love surrender. Surrender to the vision. I look at surrender as having three legs. Surrender all of the stuff that doesn't serve us. Surrender all the thoughts of doubt and worry, fear, lack, limitation, pissosity. Surrender all of the thoughts that are not in alignment with our good. We may not even need to know what our purpose is yet, but we know what feels good. We know what feels good. So let me surrender all of the stuff that doesn't make me feel good. That's the first leg, surrendering all the dumb stuff. And then the next leg is surrendering to all the good stuff. So if the first one is surrendering to everything that does not serve us, well, then the second leg is to surrendering to all the stuff that does. Now the third one is surrendering to the source of the second one. Surrendering to the source of the good. Surrendering to that power that causes the heart to beat. Surrendering to that intelligence that is the breath of our lives. Now here's the thing about surrender. Surrender and trust go hand to hand, hand in hand. You cannot have surrender without trust. Cannot have it. Whew. Come on. As we are allowing ourselves, you gotta stop. As we are allowing ourselves to surrender, as we allow ourselves to be guided by higher vision, that means that we are to no longer put up with any stuff. We are no longer here to make excuses. Well, I can't do this because I don't have enough time. I can't do this because I don't have enough money. I can't do this because, no. We are to surrender all of that. Because actually we are created to be masters, and masters make no excuses. There are no excuses. Being guided by higher vision says I surrender to the power and the presence of the vision. And then we surrender to the vision and then allow the vision to support itself through us, which means that we don't need to worry about that. When we surrender, come on, Spirit, when we surrender to the vision, then anybody and everybody who is there to support us shows up. Look at this. Look at this. You were guided by a higher vision. Man, so I can talk for another hour, but no, don't talk for another hour. Reggie's like, no, don't do that. Like, just cut this off. No, she didn't do that part. But here's the thing, folks. Guided by a higher vision. Take the time, in closing, take the time to get still. And I'll say in closing for another 2 minutes. Another 2 minutes. In closing, see, that's 2. Take the time to get still. Truly. All kidding at the center. Because if it's not fun, then why do it? Oh, which reminds me, I believe, and Bridget and I talked about this, I believe that in Scripture some of the things have been misinterpreted. One of the lines is, and God said, let there be light. I believe it was written originally, and God said, lighten up. It's not that serious. Because it really isn't. When we allow ourselves to be guided by higher vision, there's no efforting. When we allow ourselves to be guided by higher vision, there's no work to be done. Well, not hard work. Yeah, we have our responsibilities to take care of. Yeah, we must, do the practicing. We must do what it is that we are to do. But that's not hard work. That's making ourselves available to the higher vision. Man. Whew. And so, in closing, take the opportunity to love yourself as those who love you love you. Do you love yourself the way that your children love you? Do you love yourself the way that your parents love or loved you? Do you love yourself the way that you love your child? Do you love yourself the way your pets love you? Yeah. And if not, that's the practice. And the way that you can do that is to ignore the static. Is to affirm. And to affirm throughout the day. And sometimes looking into the mirror, looking deeply into your eyes. But affirm throughout the day. I love me. God, I love me. Oh man, I love me. And sometimes I appreciate, looking in the mirror, I love this one. Looking in the mirror, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And as we start to love and appreciate ourselves, you know what we appreciates. And as we do that, the vision starts to make itself known. Right? The vision, like the acorn, as the acorn holds the fullness of the oak tree within it, the vision holds the fullness of you within itself. How cool is that? Whew. I am beyond. There are no words to express my gratitude for being here. There are no words to express my excitement and my love for being here. Words get to a point where I can't say anything and I would just cry because there's so much gratitude for being here. And so it is with great, grand, and glorious gratitude that I invite you to join me in this beautiful thing that I call prayer. Please, brother, if you don't mind. Oh, no, don't turn that. Oh, are you turning it on? Yeah. Take a nice deep breath. Take one more of those. Just allow yourselves, if you want to close your eyes. And open up the inner heart to feel. Open up the inner ear, the inner eye to see. Open up the inner ear to hear the words of God as they are brought forth through the instrument that we know as Eugene. For the word that I speak is your word, and the word that we speak is the word of God, and the word of God is always made flesh. And so it is with great, grand, and glorious gratitude that I speak this word. I speak this word from a place of gratitude because I know that even before this word was spoken, this word is already complete. And so gratefully I recognize first and foremost that there is this infinite intelligence that is known by so many different names. Sometimes it is called God. Sometimes it's called Allah. Sometimes it's called Krishna. Sometimes it is called Olodumare. Whatever we call it forth into this conscious awareness, recognizing that it is truly all that there is. As Dr. Holmes would say, there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life. That life is all of life right here and now. And so I recognize that God is all there is. For in the beginning, God. It is at the very center of all of life. And having no circumference whatsoever, there isn't anything that can, does, or will exist outside of the infinite presence of God, for truly God is all there is. For it is the very nature of the infinite to permeate, to penetrate, and to fill the interspaces of the universe. To fill the interspaces of the universe, meaning that there is no space where the divine is not. The space between the hands, between the palms, when I hold them up, that space is filled with the vibrancy of spirit. The space between the inhale and the exhale is filled with the energy of the divine. The space between the word is filled with love. And so recognizing and acknowledging the ever-present presence of God, knowing that God is all that there is, knowing that God is present at all times, I know that at all times God is present right where we are. No matter where we are, God is revealing itself in, through, and as each and every one of us. I love this. Out of the one power, all of us are created. Out of this oneness, all of this multiplicity of talent and creativity is made manifest through each and every one of us right here and right now. Right here, right now, God is, we are. And so it is from my knowing of our oneness in God that I now declare this word into being, that we say yes to being guided by higher vision, that we open up the portals of our hearts, our souls, and our minds, and we allow the vision of the infinite within us to guide itself to have us experience the highest and greatest good of its life as our lives. Knowing that there's never any separation, the good of God is our good right here and right now. And so we get to let go of any thoughts of doubt, worry. We get to let go of any thoughts of lack and limitation, and we stand turning the other cheek, meaning to look in the opposite direction, where we see only the highest and the best, where we see only joy, where we see only beauty, where we all see only creativity, because we are the loving presence, the healing presence of the divine. For this, and for so much more than my eyes can see, than my ears can hear, and that my ears can ever possibly convey, I remain forever grateful and thankful. And it is from this space of gratitude and thanksgiving that I now release my word into the beautiful and dynamic activity of love and law. I know that as I release my word into the law lovingly returns my word unto us absolutely and completely fulfilled. The law must return this word unto us because it has no choice. It has no recourse. It must take these words, mold them, blend them, mend them, shape them, and then return them unto us, not void or empty, but absolutely and dynamically and abundantly, oh yeah, and joyfully fulfilled. And so fulfilled, we allow it to be, naming it so. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.